Dinosaurs. You think you know them. Giant, scaly, cold-blooded monsters that stomped around roaring at each other for a few million years before an asteroid showed up and ended the whole thing. That's the version most of us grew up with. The movies confirmed it. The museum skeletons sealed the deal. But here's the thing. Almost everything you picture when you hear the word dinosaur is wrong. The science has moved on dramatically. And what paleontologists have discovered in the last 30 years is so different from the Jurassic Park version that researchers openly use the phrase, and I am quoting directly here, the dinosaur revolution. The real dinosaurs were stranger, more colorful, more intelligent, and frankly more unsettling than anything Hollywood has put on screen. And the most surprising fact of all might be that they never actually went extinct. We'll get to that. Today we're counting down the top 5 most surprising facts about dinosaurs. Facts that will make you look at a pigeon very differently. Let's go. Number 5. The Velociraptor you know from Jurassic Park is a lie. A beautiful, terrifying, movie-perfect lie, but a lie nonetheless. When Jurassic Park was released in 1993, the Velociraptor became one of the most iconic movie monsters in cinema history. 6 feet tall. Scaly, intelligent, fast, opening doors, coordinating ambushes, hunting in packs with the strategic patience of a military unit. Here is the reality. A real velociraptor was roughly the size of a turkey, about 18 inches tall, 2 feet long, and weighing somewhere between 15 and 30 pounds. Its skull was approximately 6 inches in length. If you encountered one today, your first instinct would not be to run. It would be to check whether it was someone's escaped pet. The dinosaur that Jurassic Park actually depicted, the correct size, the terrifying proportions, the lethally curved claw on the second toe, was a different animal entirely. A dinosaur called Deinonychus. Same family. Radically different scale. Someone on the production simply preferred the name Velociraptor. And so one of the great misrepresentations in popular science was cemented into global consciousness. But here is where the story gets genuinely surprising. Because even Deinonychus, even the real, terrifying, human-sized raptor, looked nothing like the movie version. Both Velociraptor and Deinonychus had feathers. Not a few decorative feathers around the edges. Full, proper feathers covering their bodies, arms, and tails. Scientists know this because fossilized specimens of Velociraptor have been found with quill knobs, the exact same attachment points found on the wing bones of modern eagles and hawks. These were not protofeathers or fuzzy down. These were flight feathers, on an animal that could not fly. Picture the raptor from Jurassic Park. Now cover it in feathers. Now shrink it to turkey size. That is what actually lived in the Cretaceous period. And the feathers are not the strangest part. The strangest part is what those feathers were probably for. Scientists believe velociraptors used their feathered arms the way a modern bird of prey uses its wings when pinning down struggling animals, spreading them wide for balance and control while the feet did the killing work. Imagine a feathered, turkey-sized predator sprinting toward you. Arms spread wide, 2 curved claws raised. The image is somehow more disturbing than the movie version. One paleontologist described what a real raptor encounter would have felt like with perfect bluntness. He said a velociraptor was essentially a pissed-off turkey, one with a killing claw, that you should absolutely still run from, just not in the direction the movie told you. Number 4. The T-Rex could see you when you were standing completely still. One of the most famous lines in Jurassic Park, the line that sold a generation on how to survive a dinosaur encounter, was this: "Don't move. Its vision is based on movement." This is one of the most confidently stated pieces of incorrect information in movie history. T-Rex had some of the best vision of any land animal that has ever lived on this planet. Its eyes were enormous, roughly the size of grapefruits, set forward in the skull in a way that gave it exceptional binocular, 3-dimensional vision. Scientists have calculated that its visual acuity was approximately 13 times sharper than a human's. For comparison, a hawk, which we consider to have extraordinary eyesight, had vision about 8 times sharper than ours. T-Rex had 13. It could see you from 1.5 kilometers away with pinpoint clarity. It could see depth and distance in 3 dimensions. And it could see colors that human beings cannot see at all, including wavelengths in the ultraviolet range. The same visual capability shared today by birds and crocodilians, its closest living relatives. And then there was the smell. The olfactory bulbs of T-Rex, the brain structures responsible for processing smell, were proportionally enormous. Larger, relative to body size, than almost any living animal. Researchers believe its sense of smell was comparable to that of a modern turkey vulture, which can detect a single carcass from over a kilometer away using scent alone. And it could run. The estimates on T-Rex speed have been revised upward repeatedly as new biomechanical research has emerged. Current best estimates put its top speed at approximately 20 to 28 kilometers per hour. The fastest human sprinter in history, Usain Bolt, runs at 44 kilometers per hour over 100 meters. But Bolt covers that distance in under 10 seconds. T-Rex had a stride length of around 4 meters and extraordinary stamina. It would have caught most people within a very short distance, regardless of whether they moved or froze. Standing still would have made no difference at all. The good news is that you would probably not have had time to consider your options. Number 3. More time separates the Stegosaurus and the T-Rex than separates the T-Rex and you. Read that again slowly, because it genuinely requires a moment to absorb. We tend to think of dinosaurs as one era, one world, a single prehistoric landscape where every species that ever existed coexisted in a kind of permanent Jurassic Park. Stegosaurus grazing next to T-Rex, Brachiosaurus casting shadows over Triceratops. Everything happening at once in the same geological moment. This is not even close to true. The Stegosaurus, with its famous double row of plates running down its back, went extinct approximately 150 million years ago. T-Rex did not evolve until roughly 68 million years ago. The gap between those two animals is 80 million years. 80 million years. The gap between T-Rex and the present day is 66 million years. This means that when a T-Rex walked across a landscape and perhaps stumbled across the fossilized bones of a Stegosaurus, that T-Rex was looking at an animal more ancient to it than the T-Rex is ancient to us. Dinosaurs did not share a world. They occupied a span of time so vast, approximately 165 to 180 million years in total, that comparing the beginning to the end is like comparing the present day to the era before complex life existed on land. The earliest dinosaurs never saw a T-Rex. The T-Rex never saw a Stegosaurus except perhaps as a stone fossil jutting from a riverbank. For even more perspective on that scale of time, consider this. Modern humans, Homo sapiens, our species exactly as we are now, have existed for approximately 300,000 years. Dinosaurs ruled this planet for 165 million. If the entire history of non-avian dinosaurs were compressed into a single 24-hour day, human civilization would appear in the final 2 seconds before midnight. We think of dinosaurs as ancient. By the standards of their own story, we are the ones who just arrived. Number 2. Most dinosaurs had feathers, and some of them were spectacularly, almost absurdly colorful. For most of the 20th century, the default image of a dinosaur was a gray or brown, leathery, reptilian animal. Scaly skin, muted tones, something like a very large lizard, fundamentally cold and alien in appearance. This image was not based on evidence. It was based on the fact that skin color does not fossilize, and scientists simply assumed the reptile-like gray default. Then came the revolution. Beginning in the 1990s and accelerating dramatically through the 2000s and 2010s, a series of extraordinary fossil discoveries, primarily from China, began revealing dinosaurs preserved with such exceptional detail that the microscopic structures within their feathers were intact. These structures, called melanosomes, are the same pigment-containing cells found in the feathers of modern birds. And because different shapes of melanosome produce different colors in modern birds, scientists were able to reverse engineer the actual colors of specific dinosaurs for the first time. The results were extraordinary. A small dinosaur called Sinosauroptery, a feathered predator about the size of a cat, was found to have had a tail banded in alternating rings of orange, red and white, like a raccoon tail, but bright orange. On a dinosaur. A dinosaur called Saihongjuji, whose name translates from Mandarin as rainbow with a big crest, was found to have had iridescent, shimmering feathers on its head and neck. The kind of structural color you see on a hummingbird's throat or a peacock's tail. Shifting, rainbow-colored plumage. On an animal that lived 161 million years ago. Researchers also found evidence that many dinosaurs use their coloring for the same reasons modern birds do: display, mate attraction, species recognition, and intimidation. Some dinosaurs may have had bold facial markings. Others may have had crests of vivid color. The gray, scaly, utilitarian dinosaur of the 20th century imagination was almost certainly, in many species, replaced by something that looked less like a lizard and more like the most extravagant bird you have ever seen. The largest fully feathered dinosaur discovered so far was a T-Rex relative called Utyrannus huali, 30 feet long, roughly 9 tons, covered head to tail in long, shaggy, filament-like feathers. Imagine a T-Rex wrapped in a feather boa the size of a school bus, and you are approaching the right visual. And the number one most surprising fact about dinosaurs. Number 1. Dinosaurs never went extinct. You almost certainly saw one this morning, when the asteroid struck the Yucatan Peninsula 66 million years ago. The impact and its aftermath, the firestorms, the nuclear winter, the collapse of food chains, killed approximately 75% of all species on Earth. Every large non-avian dinosaur perished. The sauropods, the ceratopsians, the theropods, the ankylosaurs, all gone within a geological instant. But one group survived. A single lineage of small, feathered, fast-moving theropod dinosaurs endured the catastrophe. They found food. They reproduced. Over the following millions of years, they diversified into thousands of species that spread across every continent and every habitat on Earth. We call them birds. Every bird alive today, from the albatross to the hummingbird, from the ostrich to the penguin, is a living, breathing, reproducing dinosaur. Not descended from dinosaurs. Not related to dinosaurs. A dinosaur, taxonomically, biologically, by every scientific classification that exists. Birds are avian dinosaurs. They sit inside the dinosaur family tree the same way humans sit inside the primate family tree. The American Museum of Natural History's chairman of paleontology put it simply and directly. Dinosaurs are not extinct. We just call them birds. And the relationship is more specific than that general statement suggests. Birds are not descended from some distant, generalized dinosaur ancestor. Modern birds are most closely related to the theropod dinosaurs, the same group that includes T-Rex, Velociraptor, and Deinonychus. The T-Rex's closest living relative is not a crocodile or a lizard. It is the chicken. Scientists know this with certainty because the evidence is everywhere. Birds have hollow bones, so did theropod dinosaurs. Birds have a wishbone, called a furcula, so did T-Rex. Birds breathe using a highly efficient one-way airflow system of air sacs. The same system has been identified in sauropod dinosaurs. Baby birds hatch from eggs with a structure and chemistry almost identical to the eggs of non-avian dinosaurs. Modern bird feet, when stripped of their feathering, are virtually indistinguishable in structure from the feet of small theropod dinosaurs from the Cretaceous period. The next time you watch a pigeon walking along a footpath, bobbing its head, tilting one eye toward you with that specific reptilian sideways stare, you are looking at a direct descendant of the most dominant animals this planet has ever produced. A lineage that survived an asteroid strike that killed everything else. That has been evolving and diversifying for 66 million years since. That currently numbers approximately 10,000 species. More than all living mammal species combined. Dinosaurs did not disappear. They shrank, grew feathers, and took to the sky. And they are absolutely everywhere. The grey, scaly monsters of the museum and the movies were only ever one chapter of a story that is still being written, every morning. In every tree, on every telephone wire, in every backyard in the world. Dinosaurs never went extinct. You just stopped recognizing them. That's our top 5. If this video changed how you look at the bird outside your window, hit subscribe. We've got plenty more facts that will quietly ruin everything you thought you knew about the world. Drop a comment below with your favorite fact, and we'll see you in the next one.